You know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you Hey, anyway, so Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, just hit itself a new all-time high. All right, just now at this minute, we're crashing, okay? We have to admit that we are falling like a freaking spear that's been thrown up. But again, we have to also accept that this came after us going up like freaking spears. Bitcoin has just officially hit $112,000, breaking the current all-time high, and as it currently stands, in my opinion, because altcoins are doing so good. Let me just quickly refresh the coin market cap. Because they are doing so good, it seems more and more likely that this is indeed the moment. And when I say the moment, I just mean the moment where everything just starts flourishing again. You know, Bitcoin's setting a new all-time high. Altcoins are good, and it's not like altcoins are like a plus 40%, plus 50% just right now. No. And by the way, if anybody comments, Dusty, this is not an emergency, I will personally right now 1v1 you to the death. All right, this is what we got to do right now to set the record straight. If you do not think that a Bitcoin all-time high is the highest order of emergency, then I don't know what we're talking about, my friend. Because the moment you see Bitcoin breaking that all-time high, you know that better days are to come for alts. And again, maybe it's going to take some time. Maybe this is not the push that's going to take us to the land. But in January, remember that time. Remember how crazy things were. Remember a few months ago how crazy things were. Right now, everything has been shit. Everything has been garbage all day. But Bitcoin has just officially broken $112,000, ladies and gentlemen. Officially the highest point ever. Everybody is talking about it right now. Everybody's going crazy because, well, I think it's pretty damn cool, right? The fact that we were officially able to do it. Officially broke 112,000. I don't think it's happened on any exchange, really. I'm seeing here the highest point a while back in May was about 111,000.9. But officially today, you can see right here, on Bybit, it did not happen either, I think. Let's quickly check it out. So here on the main Bybit, it also did not broke 112. It actually went to 111,999. So that's kind of funny how the $112,000 barrier was not broken, but in a lot of other exchanges, it definitely was. Everybody is talking about it right now. Every single Twitter account is just going on a rampage because I think people are starting to get excited again as to what's about to happen to altcoins. Right, at least from my personal perspective, this is really, really cool. So somebody says, why is it different in euro? So do you understand that the Bitcoin price on its own can move a certain way, but actually, if the dollar goes down significantly, theoretically speaking, Bitcoin also becomes more valuable, right? So if you're wondering, hey, why is the euro different than the dollar? Because the euro as a currency moves different than the dollar as a currency, right? So those will never be exactly the same, especially in a time where the US dollar is doing this bad. You know, you get a little bit of a different chart in there. Anyway, so you guys have heard me screaming about my XRP long, right? How much was it down? $100,000 before. Just now, yesterday, we were down, I think like 8,000 or something like that. Today, we're up about $21,000 on this trade. And again, yesterday, any single person could have still gotten in because on Bluefin, the platform that I use, any person in any country can use it. As I've got a lot of money on here, no KYC, nothing, which I think is pretty freaking nice. But the more important part, anybody could have still entered in a price lower than mine. And that's crucial to state because that was just yesterday. But also, we've been screaming of the craziest XRP opportunity for a while now. And I still think, right, the major move is yet to play out. Right now for XRP, if you are wondering, we are facing a critical resistance. The moment we cross this $2.40-43 barrier, though, it is go time. But until that happens, I'm excited. I'm happy, and the fact that Bitcoin broke its all-time high, to me, just means there's a higher likelihood of this occurring. Because again, think about this. If Bitcoin is able to go to its highest point ever, unless from that point on it's going to zero, most likely altcoins now, or let me just say it like this, people then take their Bitcoin gains and start diversifying it into different altcoins. Sometimes it's a lagging thing where it takes a bit of time, but it's... Oh man, it makes me want to freak. Okay. That was almost that was almost an issue. Okay. I didn't expect that to happen. This chair was a bit more unstable than I had anticipated. Can happen to the best of us, all right? Every warrior sometimes has a little fall. A fall with grace is never a real big issue, though. Anyway, but man, I'm hyped up. And you know, I was actually, fun fact, I was going out for dinner, all right? Or lunch, you can call it. I was just chilling, or just got my main, and all of a sudden, I noticed my phone is blowing the frick off. I'm like, what's going on? Because I remember earlier in our stream today, I said, if XRP crosses $2.40, I have to be here talking about it. All of a sudden, Bitcoin broke an all-time high. I had a dessert, all right? But first of all, it doesn't really look that appetizing. But I said, you know, let me take it to go. Let me go. So right now, I have a little how do you call it? A little celebratory meal here for myself, I guess. Man, I'm so excited. You guys can't understand. Somebody says shabu shabu. No, it's I don't know. I'll not say what I had for food. You said it looks pretty good. Really? It looked cooler when it was not in a to-go box, but mochaccino something, I think. But it's the most expensive thing I could find, so. Alright. Also, we got some delicious vegetables, fruits to enjoy ourselves at this all-time high. Things are amazing right now. Some of y'all can't feel my feelings. And the only problem I have, and this is a problem that some of you guys will recognize, really, man to man, I'm telling you right now, my biggest problem is that I did not go all in. And I don't want to, I'm not going to FOMO, actually, matter of fact, I would never. I'm not going to buy more right now because I've had so much time to lower my entry price, right, of $2.34. And I got it down slightly because it was $2.56 a while back. I've been screaming that I can blast the top and it's all fine. We'll make it worth it. I will not FOMO buying more, but I still want to actually get another few $1 million worth of XRP here. I just feel as if it's too good an opportunity, but then I realize I also just have my XRP. So it's not as if the position here that you're seeing is all that counts in my life, but it sometimes feels like it because I'm looking at this thinking, oh man, we need to have an even bigger long, right? It needs to be crazier, it needs to be heavier. But then I also realize, you know, we did it from a risk-reward perspective. We did the math on it. This is a pretty good size for the current moment, right? And actually, once we break, potentially we could just take some profit on the first trade and open a second one. I can just add to it, but that's, again, mentally for the most part. Because, again, basically we get ourselves a second chance the moment that this line, about $2.43, I notice now I've not been showing you anything, has been broken. Right, from that point forward, we get ourselves another chance. And this trade is juicy. I'm happy with it, but I'm not gonna sell this out for a measly 20,000 bucks. Right? We want the big schmeckles, the big money. This is nothing. Even if we look on Bybit, remember, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you one very crucial thing. All right, there's one very, 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 very important thing which I have to show you guys right here, and I'll show you right now. But pay attention, because this is crucial. What I've got here is an XRP long. And if you pay really close attention, what you'll find is that we actually only inserted $1,300. You know how much profit this trade is in? About 50,000. So what is the lesson there? Well, a lot of people can't comprehend the amount of money you can make with trades. You don't have to trade, by the way. For every single person watching, I'm not encouraging you to do anything. I'm just showing you my results. Maybe you can learn something from that, maybe not. Maybe you just find it entertaining. Because maybe my excitement, hopefully, also translates over to some of your excitement. Because I'm freaking pumped up. The only thing I have is a bit of scarediness that I don't have enough. But I think that's also coming with the territory. It will happen every single time. I've been here for multiple bull markets. I've been here 8 years every single day on this channel. And I still feel that. So if you feel overwhelmed or you feel like you don't have enough or you feel excited, all those are logical. Let's get back to it. Right, we've got this Dogecoin position. We put $1,000 in. It's only $10,000 in the plus. This was also $30,000 before. It's just because Doge is down significantly. But XRP, you can see, we put $1,000 in, it's up 50,000. Let me quickly see. This ETH position is actually still down. We opened this at about 28.77. It's right now at 27.50s, whatever. So we're actually still down on this $100,000 trade. But we also only put $12,000 in. So we'll see how that turns out. But let me quickly show you a more interesting one. By the way, I could open a new Sol trade because apparently this is nothing anymore. It's a freaking $50 trade. Yeah, that's not so relevant. Anyway, let me quickly find the other one. All right, here we go. So we have ourselves also a Bitcoin trade. We put $3,000 in. It is roughly 30-something thousand dollars in the profit. So you get it now that sometimes these things can be extremely, extremely, extremely profitable if the timing is right. And let me quickly show you one more account of mine. Let me just quickly go to the stream account. So for all of you that do not know, on Bybit you can make sub accounts. Let me quickly go to my stream account. This is the main stream account. So as you can see right here, right, this is the DustyBC stream account. We put $2,000 in, and it's $45,000 in the plus. Now you might say, Dusty, but your entry is $34,000 of Bitcoin. Yep, because I've had this open for a while. But you got to understand, we had $2,000 to work with, and we were able to make freaking, I don't know, 2 yearly salaries for some people. You know, maybe 1 yearly salary for another, but let's just say 2 yearly salaries off of $2,000. Yes, it took time, but that's the power that everybody here has. We are not yet at peak altcoin season. We are not yet at the peak of the bull market. I tell everybody that most likely trades like this can still be replicated from here. I still feel as if it's worth it from a risk-reward perspective. I still feel as if I don't understand why. Anyway, so if you're wondering, why do I keep talking about these bots so much, right? Because I do talk about them every single day. It's because my best friend in the entire freaking world right now was able to turn $4,000 into 1.3, something like that, $1.3 million. It is a proven track record over the past 4 years or whatever, and it just makes so much sense. These bots are so good. And again, I'm not here begging you to do whatever you want to do. I am just saying, I could literally almost all in, but the problem with all in being, you don't know what you don't know, right? The market could have some catastrophe, which is why you want to always just keep some money on the side. That's one. But basically, a lot of the spare cash I had, I've just gotten in different bots. And here's, for example, one account with also a couple $100,000, I think maybe $700,000 worth of bots. Why? Because it's just that easy. And I opened many, many ones. Just gonna prove a point, but if you really start diving into it, what the strategy is the bot, all it does is it gets itself a position. In this case here, for example, 61,000 XRP long. So again, times 2.5, you get it. Let's say $150,000 long, right? But it's a $250,000 bot because you put 50K in and it's 5x long. What it does is it keeps a lot of the money on the side to buy the dip and sell once it goes back up, to have trading capital in case the price goes down. You could do this all manually, you know. But why would you when you can also let a bot do it? Now, I have another good example of this. Let me quickly go back to another account over on Bybit and show you two of my other bots. Just give me a second. Just quickly go to, where are bots on Bybit again? Oh, here we go. So it's a bit strange. It's under tools, trading, there we go. So, I've got a few bots over on Bybit as well. Not the bit. Oh, there's a new quiz over there as well on Bybit. I never knew that. I never knew that. All right, let me quickly find my bots. I don't know why it's so hard to find my bots. Here we go. I found them. There we go. So, what we've got in front of me right here are 3 of my Bybit bots. Now, these, I opened all 3 in a video a while back, like a year and a half ago or something. You can see, right, this is about 535 days. I made a video explaining how to make a ton of money with bot trading. And then later on, about 3 months later, something like that, I opened another bot. Why? Because I wanted to prove at least, it's always good depending on your settings. It can be better or slightly worse. But right now you can see, I put $100 in. It's $700 in the plus. Yes, it took a year and a half, but I've got time. Here, we put $100 in, it's up $550. We put $300 in, it's up $900 in a little over a year and 3 months, something like that. So my point being, really, all you theoretically speaking have to do when it comes to asset classes, that like Bitcoin, XRP as an asset class, the cryptos, right? Or the S&P, the stock market, is just continuously buy it. And as long as it does not go to zero, you make a ton of money. And right now we have proven that yet again, because over the last few years, we've been doing exactly that. And it just keeps on working. It is just that beautiful. Now, on the short term, you may hate your life. This is true. Even now, if we take a look at one of my other bots, and by the way, I'm stealing the whole chat box, but I'm going on a monologue right now, all right? For everybody, if you're here, give me a second, all right? I got to get these thoughts out there. I have to get these thoughts out there. I have to. So, on the short term, you may hate your life, because even if we take a look at my, let's see here, 10K to $1 million challenge, I am quite confident this will probably turn into $1 million in a year or two. Quite confident. But it could be slightly longer depending on what the market does. It could be quicker depending on what the market does. It could be quicker depending on if XRP goes on a rampage. But it will probably be at $1 million even if XRP doesn't go on a rampage, right? But it will just take more time. Now, right now though, looking at this, people can get really distraught thinking, oh, it's down $5,000 on the 14,000 you put in. But it's all fine because again, it's a strategy, all right? It's making more profit as time progresses. It's only been 60 days. And it's already been able to cash out 7%. Then again, we could reinvest back to the bot. We don't have to though because we wait for about a 10% increase. But basically every single time we just keep reinvesting all the grid profits to eventually get this to $1 million. Theoretically speaking, we could get to $1 million long, but we try to get to $1 million in actual investment. That's the cooler part, right? So this bull run bot, right now it's awful. It's down. Oh no. But give it time, right? Give it time. A little bit ago, it was down what? $2,000. Right now, it's actually down only like $150, $200. It's down $550, you might say. Yeah, but it's been able to cash this out in the meantime. Because that's the game because we keep it running. This XLM bot was always down. I opened it and instantly it was down like thousands of dollars. It was even down $8,000 a few weeks ago. It was even down here, $7,500 last week. And right now it's up. All of a sudden it's up a few $1,000. Why? Because we were patient enough, keeps cashing out the grids, and all we need is one good little pump. Fun fact, right? This is the most fun out of everything. I want to freaking schmack. Oh, I get too excited. I started this bot at 30.5 cents LXM. Right now we're at 28 cents. We're down, and I'm still up 23%. Why? Because I've explained the strategy. I've explained exactly what we need to do to maximize profits over time. And the only two I'm not doing that with is the the bull run bot and the 10K to $1 million challenge. Those are also the two ones that were down like tremendously. There's a few ones like 𝗕𝗃 right now that's not doing too well, virtual, ADA, some of those. But that's because those altcoins are not as popular this exact second. But again, given some time, we can see, for example, SUI grid out those profits over time. All we got to do is be a bit patient. So anyway, boys and girls and everybody in the chat, are we still here? Who's here? Who's here in the chat right now? Let's just quickly see. Who's here watching this right now? Who saw me go on a little bit of a rampage? I want to quickly know. And why is my laptop not charging no more? Let me quickly see why. What's going on? The old give a cable a little blow. Pause. Okay, don't ask me why. Why is the... Okay, I'm gonna have to tech support myself. MacBook charger. Hey, who's Dutch here? Who knows? 𝗕𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃. Flashing. There we go. MacBook charger flashing. That's not good. So if you're wondering why am I not talking, I might have a bit of a bigger issue, ladies. Okay, let me think of this. Let me cook right now. Let me cook something, all right? Let's think here as to how I can fix this predicament. Okay, we try a different charger. Let's see. This also does not work. It does. Okay, so the charger. Okay, so we'll be fine. At least we're okay. All right, we don't have lights right now, but... All right, we're cooking again. We're cooking again. We're cooking again. We're cooking again. We're okay. We're okay. We're okay. Ah, lads, we cooked. What's the problem? Nah, we're good. Hey, where y'all watching from? Bonsi man, bro. I am Dutch, like 𝗕𝗃𝗀𝗃. I want to join your crew like the movie Old School. Come on in, join us. Dus die groet uit Amsterdam, like 𝗕𝗃𝗀𝗃. 𝗬𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂, the stream hoppert. All right, she. All right, I'm in a hotel, guys. I can't fix the internet. I tried to call them to get it even faster, but I already got max speed. Pionex has loads of bad reviews, no good reviews on it. Please show you drawing off money on the platform. Okay, I'll tell you this right now. Send me a message, all right? If you have an issue with taking your money off, just send me a message. I will personally, if it's more than like at least like $100,000, all right? If you only have $100,000 on there and you're not getting it off, if it's like $5, just talk to the support, figure it out. If it's at least 100K, you could text me. I'll personally make sure that I can do whatever in my power to get you your money, all right? Because I could not fathom anybody having issues. I've transacted millions on this with no issue at all for a pretty long time. I met every key person in that company. If you have issues, let me know. I will personally try every single thing in my power to get you this. So the ones I use right now, 𝗬𝗂𝗃, which properly backed in any way, shape, or form. There's just a couple things about the UI I don't like too much. But 𝗬𝗂𝗃 is a platform, trust with a lot of money. All right, every single one of the platforms I talk about, I trust with millions of dollars. If not, I wouldn't talk about them here today. Then again, I never used FTX, not a single day in my life. But if I did, yeah, I mean, I would have probably trusted that one too because it was freaking huge and everywhere. Bybit, I use with the majority of money. It's just the main platform I've used for years. Binance is the biggest one, but they're pretty garbage for perpetuals. I don't like them. I don't like the way it looks for trading, but it's Binance, right? So trusted with all of my money. Pionex I like because it's the best bot trading platform out there. They're just smaller, but they don't want to grow necessarily. Very friendly company structure. Know the CEO, know a lot of different key people. They're pretty good, but smaller. Blowfin, yeah, no, most of the key people there, not as many, but they're freaking huge. And they're growing, they have a lot of campaigns. It's just, these are the ones, I think the main ones, and the 𝗬𝗂𝗃 I said earlier. Just don't like some of the features that they've got, but also trusted a lot, right? So yeah, if you have an issue, let me know. OSD here says, Dusty, he says, hey, okay, so I don't want to show it, but there's a person here that says, hey, I've got like 100,000 in XRP, but I don't want to trade with it. If you're not comfortable to trade, ladies and gentlemen, please understand, don't do it. It is not worth it. If you're not comfortable, you don't have a plan, you're just like, oh, let me make some extra money. Most of the time, you're going to regret it. So if you have a plan, I would always suggest doing it with some dollars, or again, with the idea in mind. Like, hey, for example, the bots make sense over time. You know, it's proven, in this case, my example, or you can see the logic in that. Maybe try it out. Hey, you've got dollars. You think if I enter to position, as long as my liquidation is below this, I don't think the XP price will go that low, or Bitcoin. So it's a good idea to enter. Yabba dabba do. If you're just blindly buying, that's also fine, but then probably not wise to use heavy amounts of leverage. If you're using 3x leverage, I think Ethereum hype, and I showed this again a few days ago. I put up a theory before saying, hey, if you are buying 3x hype, 3x ETH, 3x Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. I don't think it's possible to lose money on this. I don't think it's possible. Again, if you really are a maniac, there's probably a way to mess it up, but I can't even think of one. So I explained that before, and right now you can see we're about $6,000 in the profit on that in about a week or something like that. Again, this was just to prove a point. I only bought it just to say this in a video, basically. But we obviously could have done significantly more. But again, my money here is kind of locked because I just have some extra. I only have about $400,000 extra in this account to buy the dip in case we do see a massive crash of sorts. And again, I don't want to put more money into the smaller trades here because I just don't care enough. All right, I already have crazy 3x ETH hype, Bitcoin. There's two more, but I have a few longs open already. I don't have to do anything more. Basically, all we got to do is just wait it out. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And the thing is, if you're in specific countries, some other exchanges might be better. You know, if you're in India, if you're in freaking whatever, some of the exchanges might be better. I don't use Coinbase, right? But you could, if you're in America, maybe. Maybe it's actually quite easy. But also, I don't really like too many of these KYC platforms. I prefer to not have to KYC and just KYC if I want to get higher limits. Lewis says Pionex has 2 stars on Trustpilot. I don't care, to be honest with that, but that's just all your personal thing. For me personally, again, I trust it with a few $1 million. If you don't use it. But I think for I can't think of any way. But yeah, you never know, right? Like, for example, with FTX, you never really knew for sure either. But I think the bot right now, the amount of money that's also following it, a lot of people do trust it just fine. And I've never heard anything bad about it. The only thing that I think was kind of bad, in my own personal opinion, is they sometimes flag my account and they say, hey, you have to KYC. And then I have to talk to support, say, hey, I don't. And they reset it. That's the only annoying thing I can think of. But whatever. It's a happening. Somebody says maybe Dusty is pooping. Wait, what had just happened? Did the stream stop, or why would somebody think that? Or is it because you're making me confused, brother? Why did you say that? Why? What is making you think I'm pooping right now? What could I have possibly done that made you draw that conclusion? I am... What? What just happened? Well, interesting. You're good? I hope so, because I'm not. I mean, I'm sitting here. I'm drinking my coffee. I don't know. Teeper says, not the best entry, but certainly not good. Anyway, this guy says, Nan says, I got nervous when I'm leveraged over 25 bands. It's a mental thing. Yeah, it is. All right. So the first times, usually I'd even get nervous. And we're talking about a while back. No, I can't think of that anymore. I'm starting to think now. You know what's funny? I've had bots running with Profit Trailer. Maybe you guys remember. Let me see if I still have some videos on that up. Let me see. DustyBC Profit Trailer. No, I do not. 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 Profit. Anyway, I used to have a specific bot that I used to use. I have a video here. 1 Bitcoin results. But that's funny because this is so long ago. My voice sounded so different.
This is DustyBC.
Oh, just for fun. I'm just listening to my...
Wait.
Another crypto video. It's a different intro. Just for fun's sakes. Let's get over day 15 of our Profit Trailer bot series. Comment something below. Likely been going down quite...
Wow, this is so funny. I have not seen this specific bot video in such a long while. Huh. So Bitcoin, by the time I was recording this also, was $9,000, for example. I think that's really, really sometimes funny to look back at. Some of the older videos I made at lower Bitcoin prices. I just sometimes like to look back at that and realize, you know what? Always throughout all that time, all you have to theoretically speaking do is just buy the freaking dip. If you did, and by the way, also another funny thing, you know what used to be way more popular? Bots that sold into Bitcoin or buying into Bitcoin. For example, here's an IOTA trade that was actually, all it was doing was DCAing into IOTA out of altcoins. I mean, IOTA at this point has a good community, sure, but I mean, I would have preferred to have Bitcoin do a 40x or whatever from 2018 till now. But regardless, back then this used to be a really, really popular thing. But what you always just used to do, and a lot of my friends did this and made crazy amounts of money this way, it was awesome, was what you do is you start and buying any altcoin, any one of them. It just keeps buying as the price goes lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. Why? Because every single altcoin and altcoin season goes up. Nowadays, since most of those pairs are in USDT, you could also do it with Bitcoin. Before it used to be more of an altcoin thing. All you do is just you buy on the way down, because eventually you'll be able to sell it for profit. Now, this is officially like a simple Martingale strategy of sorts, right? You might think, which to the most part, for most part, is true. But I've also proven here on Bybit that even simple Martingale, without many hooks and cravats, can actually work. If you want a better, more in detail strategy, that's again where Payonix comes on in. It has a better algorithm for it and more settings you could tweak. For example, with the grid bots, it's just better at what it wants to do. But for the most part, even Martingale throughout the history has worked. I sometimes look at the comments and somebody says, Dusty, my XRP entry is $2.50, $2.80. And I look at that thinking my entry for XRP was $2.56 for this trade. We were able to get it down to about $2.32. You right now would still be at a loss. I'm right now in $20,000 worth of profit. How? Because we actually bought as the price went down lower. If you had $0 to do that, then you entered at the wrong spot. You have to just accept the consequences that you have to wait a bit longer. But still, most these assets, in my opinion, will go to a higher point at some point in the future. All we got to do is be patient. And if we want to make the process a bit faster, we can DCA. That is, again, when we take a look at the XLM bot. And again, ladies and gentlemen, you do not have to use bots. I'm just explaining it in bot terms because it's no manual labor. It's passive. It's easy. You can do this all manually. All you got to do is set up orders as the price go down lower. Right? And you got to have a lot of them. And specifically, if you want a cash flow, you also want to sell as the price goes higher, but you don't necessarily have to do that. I mean, you can even just use Martingale simply by, you buy now, for example, XRP at $2.40, right? You buy again at $2, right? 20% down, you buy again. Then again, you buy at $1.50 or whatever, you triple it up, you buy a significant amount more, and then at $1, you buy whatever, 10 times, for example, the original amount. Maybe 40 times the original amount. You just buy hard. Now, again, you might be overcommitted. Maybe you wanted to only put $100,000 in, and by this time, you're $2 million deep, right? 20 times your original investment. But you've got a very high likelihood of making a ton of money on this, specifically because you're increasing it every single time it goes down lower. Not just doubling, but doubling, you know. The only negative thing is you're committed more than you want to, but that's also why I always have a few $1 million extra in my accounts, just that I'm able to add to these trades in case. Again, you don't need this, but it's what I just always do. Somebody says, can you use the bots without leverage? Of course! You'll always find something you can do without leverage. Leverage is just a bit quicker. It makes the process a bit faster. You do not have to use leverage. For any strategy I talk about here, the only thing that leverage does is it makes it so you can use $100,000 to open $1 million trade, for example. But you could just only open the $10,000 trade with $10,000, no leverage. It's the same. All applies the same principles. All it does is it uses your capital a bit more efficiently, because if you think back on a 3x hype long, 3x Bitcoin long, 3x Ethereum long, the probability of the price going down more than 33% in a day is quite small. If we're talking about a full account, right, of, for example, $100,000 with a 3x leverage, let me just, oh, shit, did I press something? I think we're good. If you use, for example, $100,000 3x leverage, $300,000 trade, it can go down 33% before you're at the same level. But if you think about it, you only had to use 33,000 of your own capital, use it with 3 times leverage, act as 100,000. At the moment the price falls down, you could just, theoretically speaking, by having money in your account that could be doing different things, maybe generating you interest, whatever, you could actually add it at that point. As long as it's less than funding, for most times it will be. Because the price most likely will not drop more than that in a day, you're usually fine. Especially if you have a little bit of extra for margin. You get it. We have a bit of a problem with my charging though. I don't know why that is. But man, I'm excited. The near future here is looking very, very, very bright. Very, very, very bright. But for example, this is most likely a joke, but I'm just gonna tackle it anyway. For example, King David says, I'll just throw $2 million of my money on XRP and leverage it 10 times. So the problem, I'll say, with those type of statements is not the trade itself. I mean, 10x leverage on XRP, I think, is probably pretty simple. It's not as if the coin is so volatile where you are hurting yourself every single day. The problem comes in what I see people do. They don't actually stick to 10x leverage. with a little bit of money and margin to back it up. What they do is they go to 40, they go to 50x leverage, and I see that when I take a look at the trade statistics. What you notice is most people that wreck themselves is just because they over leverage. At 10x, it is very hard to wreck yourself. It's not impossible, but it's quite hard, especially if you didn't enter full port. You entered with just a trade you wanted to go for. And again, Nanas has a good point here. Leverage is scary with all those black swan events. That's your counter. You are almost always going to be better off with leverage, except for a black swan event. Agreed. I have to agree 100% with you. If all of a sudden the entire market drops 60% in a day, we are a bit cooked. Truth, right? It's just the negative side to it. The whole hope is that you'll be able to make way more profit than whatever could happen in a black swan event in the meantime. Because again, if you're always going to bet on the black swan, you might as well short with your full portfolio because the probability of it happening is very, very small, right? This is like the fact that, okay, let's say it differently. I personally don't calculate a black swan event in, except for the fact that I have dollars still left to buy the dip in case it does, right? I am not max shorting. I still have longs open because in general, I expect every single one of my coins to go up tremendously, to make a ton of money in the process. And if a black swan event comes, we will have time to salvage it, save it by buying the dip, by adding more margin to the trade, or potentially by buying that dip and then on the ride back up, make a lot of money. If I was banking on the downfall on the black swan, I'd close everything and just start shorting. But I think the probability of that being the event is quite small and is not worth changing my entire life over. If you do think, or you're quite certain it's going to happen, short the crap out of the market. But again, I don't think it's a very high likelihood. Where's everybody watching from right now? Because I remember we were streaming a few hours ago when Brad Garlinghouse was speaking, and I wonder if the market, like $200 million worth of Bitcoin shorts have gotten liquidated in the past hour. President Trump imposes 50% tariff on Brazil. Michael Saylor's strategy now has $24 billion unrealized profit on their Bitcoin investment. Trump new tariff list. Cambodia, Thailand. More live streams. Yes, let's hope so. Let's hope the market stays cool. We can do this. So it seems right now a lot of people are in the Europe area again, whereas earlier this morning, it was not that much Europe, I believed. So as it currently stands, let me just quickly take a little bit of a look at the market though, instead of looking at this from a different angle. Let me quickly just take a look. So our trade, when you zoom out, it's kind of funny how it still seems like we blast the top, or we get ourselves a juicy entry by buying that bottom, I guess, when you look at it from this angle. You know, from the fact that we got ourselves a pullback, we bought in right there, and we were able to catch that wave. Of course, I know that we had this open for a way longer time, but really, when you start looking at it from the overarching angle, we bought really, really, really high. It's kind of funny that we're still able to be in such a crazy amount of profit, but that's only because we take a look at this from the 15-minute perspective. Take a look at it from the daily, and all of a sudden, it's up there. Oh my days, this chart is wrecked. Oh, it's still wrecked. How to turn off orders. There must be a way to turn off orders in our chart. Okay, it's less easy than I had anticipated. Mark price margin action. I guess, no, you can't close that one. Reverse. No, this is all for the bottom. How do we change the chart settings? I guess we shall never figure it out. There's a way for it, but again, another thing you're gonna have to trust me on is everything is so different when you're streaming. Here we go. No, I thought this would be it, but it's not. but it's just sound confirmations. Second confirmations and trade notifications and sounds. I love those sounds, by the way. That's a different little side note. There's nothing I love more in the crypto trading space than the sound of an order filling. But it doesn't matter that much. It's just I was going to show you a bit of a cleaner chart. You guys are saying display at the top. Let's see it real quick. This is the tutorial or coupon. What else do we got? Place order. I'll just accept that I'm too stupid to do this. Oh, by the way, what type of alert? I wonder actually. I never used this. I wonder what type of alert this would give me. Is it just going to be like a... Let's see. So we go for... let's do 240 again. Just for fun. The moment it happens, I want to be alerted. Let's see what happens. All right, so we put an alert in. I want to see... I have no idea. Like, I literally do not know. Maybe it's going to be tingling like on a couple different exchanges. Boys, it's fine. It's not... I'll just show a different chart. It was just to quickly see if I could do it, but I can't. All right. Sometimes you got to take your W's. You got to take your losses where you where you want to take them. Dusty, is this what you do for a living? Sometimes I really wonder how down bad people think I am. Yeah. Times are not that tough, ladies and gentlemen. We're chilling. All right. Theoretically speaking, investments is a job, okay? Oh, that is funny. I think this used to be different because of making this video so long that people look at it from a different angle. When I was a lot younger, maybe a different voice. But now, since I look more grown up, obviously, as well, I think it's becoming less and less of a question. But also because maybe, just maybe, at first I was never showing a face, all right? At first I was never showing trades, nothing of that sort, because I thought, you should never do these type of things. You should never show any form of wealth. You should never show anything. And then eventually I got kind of, I guess, caught in a different circle where I realized it's okay. It's not that big a deal. It's fine. And it's still always a bit of thing I'm stuck in the middle over as to, should you flex with things? You know, the main reason you don't really see too much is I'm not really that type of character in that sense. It's not really something that comes inherently natural. To some extent, these things, all the trades, I'm excited for because we open them all together. So I'm kind of in the back end also thinking there's probably a lot of people that took this, but also people would like to feel the excitement of whatever we were talking about working out. Even if it takes a long freaking time, right? I'm happy. I'm happy. Even if I make $7 on the trade, or we make no money at all, it's just paper profits, I'm still happy with the journey. It excites me, and I sometimes feel as if that excitement just transfers over, even if I'm not really doing anything too flexy. Because again, it's not something that comes inherently natural, but eventually, maybe, who knows, right? We'll never know what's going to happen next year. We'll never know what's going to happen in a year after that. We never know. Maybe all of a sudden XCB treats us too well, and we start going a bit crazy, but I don't think so. I don't think it can change me too much anymore. Cray says, Dusty, did you see YouTube changing how they pay creators? Another funny thing. So also, people often assume that YouTube is really a job of sorts, with failing to understand. I see it as a job because it takes so much time, but the pay is very little. I think the entire pay for the month, for example, of making videos every day, it's probably maybe like, let's say, $1,000, for example. Let's just say a number out there, probably $1,000. So really, when I start thinking about it, it's not really worth it in terms of work at all. I could not fathom a world where it is. So no, to really look at the difference in pay, no, not really. I've never noticed. I don't care. I don't know what my CPM is. It's fine. Most of my friends actually have their ads either turned off because they think it works better for views, or, oh, my camera's stuck. Or, let me quickly go back to it. There we go, we're back. Or it's just an ad at the start and at the end. And I also, before, for the years, I always had middle ads. I try to turn it off as much as possible now. But sometimes YouTube just puts them in anyway. And I still am not sure if YouTube does not just show your video more if they have ads on it, which is why I don't turn them off. But it's definitely not worth anything. Okay, it's worth something. You know, details matter. But it's not worth doing for that reason. I'll tell you the specific amount, to be very, very specific. So just over the past month, it's not even been $1,500. So just to put it into perspective, you might say, oh, that's amazing, which I get for you. I really, really do. For some people, this probably would be world changing. But, you know, I don't know. I feel as if $1,500 extra or minus is not going to change my my day so much. You know, for me, it's not something I do it for. Yeah. Anyway, besides the point. There's a lot of questions about leverage today, but I want you guys to know one very, very important thing. Don't use what you don't understand. All right. If you don't really like leverage, skip it, man. It's not a forced thing. I just explained before that if you have a 100K bankroll, there's significantly more you could do if you were to use leverage, even if it's low, than not. But then again, if you're irresponsible, the money management is not on point yet, there's a good chance you're going to lose a good chunk of it. So, hey. Craig says, I'm very much surprised for 200,000 subscribers, but I feel you. It's actually just how many views you get. The subscribers don't matter at all. It's the amount of views and the amount of ads you insert into it. I could increase it by about a 5-fold for the current market. And if the market's really, really good, I think it could be maybe more towards the 30s of thousands a month, maybe something like this, maybe 20 to 50,000. If you look at some other big YouTubers that are crypto people, they probably are making more than that. It could be, right? But you got to put a lot of ads in or get a lot of donations, one of the two, or just get a lot of freaking views. But that's a story for a different day. Somebody says it's haram, so I don't use leverage. I get that. Think 2020 basically says he's got a bag full of XRP. It's just waiting a few years. For most people, that is really just the easiest way. It is for a lot of people the easiest way to just wait it out. But the problem with me is it's not fast enough. Unless you're already a billionaire to start off with, right? But the whole principle, the whole point is to just try and beat whatever gains you would have made by just waiting. And some people will be able to do it, some people won't. I just personally think if we time a little bit as to which part of the market we're in, we're actually able to beat it by significant returns or by significant margin. But if you're not comfortable, hey, all power to you. Brothers, by the way, if you're not done yet, make sure you go ahead and press the like button on the stream. You don't have to, but we have about 3,500 people that tuned on in, and we've got about 186 likes. So if you're not done yet, make sure you go ahead and press that like button, because, why not? Hey, you've got nothing to lose. Man, we're at a freaking all-time high day for Bitcoin. How are we not excited? All right? What's going on? We've been screaming the Bitcoin dominance here is to fall, but it's not yet. It's falling slowly but surely. We saw at least a good little pump for some of the alts, though, and I'm mostly happy, really, when I start thinking about it, the fact that we were a bit spot on with this breakout for XRP. It is what I care about most in this world. Not about being right, but by being able to say, hey, this is where I really think it's going to go right, and it does. Some people argued saying, hey, you've said that multiple times in the past. Yes, and very often it does work out pretty quickly, and if it doesn't, well, you've seen me go minus $100,000 on my trades, yet I told you, we'll be able to get this back in the plus, just wait it out, and here we are. And this is a big, I told you so moment. And the same thing for my bots here, which again, I will keep talking about every single day. You can also probably open them without leverage. Just go to spot, then go to trading bot. If there's a lot of demand for it, I'll open a trading bot as well that uses zero leverage. It's just so slow that I feel as if, I don't know. But I can do it for sure. I can show you guys how to do it without leverage as well. It's just slower. That's all. It's pretty freaking simple though at the core concept. All it does is the exact same thing, but no leverage. All right, so we go again here to Pionex, for example. We go create ourselves a grid bot or a Martingale bot, depending on whatever you like. They both make sense, but specifically grid bots are so popular on this platform. You go through the settings. For example, you go for an XRP bot. We go for XRP to dollars, right? Put a lower limit, a higher limit, and we put the amount of grids we want. You can max it out if you've got enough money in your account for it. For 500 in this case, we put I don't know, 50 cents. We put $4, for example. And theoretically speaking, this already would be enough to suffice as a pretty simple, pretty easy bot. This would already probably work. All right, there's some optimization things, but in general, this would just work fine. And you can actually, as it runs, see what you like or what you don't like about it. You start out with like $500, just see if it works, see if it doesn't work, and you go from there. It's just one thing you could do if you really don't like leverage. Again, it's not my personal strategy, but hey. There's always the links down below, by the way. Nick says, I'm glad you're bringing this up because I couldn't understand why anyone would come to the conclusion unless they are a child acting like a ding-dong. Not so sure which one you're referring to. David says, or you inherited a large amount of money, then you can play the crypto waiting game. I disagree very much so. There's a lot of, and please understand this also. Theoretically speaking, you don't need to make that much for just holding to be worth it. It's just if you want to expedite the process. You want to make it quicker. Ultimately, I think most people get rich over time just by investing. I explained before that you can actually become a billionaire by just investing $10,000 a month. Again, I know $10,000 a month is a lot. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're talking about becoming a billionaire in like 60 years. So the core principle there being time, right? But if you want to skip the 60-year period, obviously, if you want to do it in 20 years, you might need, for example, I don't know, $100,000 a month, right? Instead of $10,000. And then if you want to do it in 15 years, you might need $250,000 a month. If you want to do it in 80 years, you might only need $4,000 a month. If you want to do it in 6 lifetimes, you might only need $1,000 a month. Or you need to get better returns a year. So on average, let's say the S&P does 12%, you're able to get 14. You expedite the process by a good amount. So every single year, you're able to get slightly more. The compounding effects are huge. But time definitely beats everything. But the only thing that's inherently valueless in the sense that you can't put a value on it, but invaluable, I should call it, is time. Because it's the most precious thing we've got. So, by that thinking process, all I care about here is what can we do to make our gains happen slightly faster? What can we do to maximize, hopefully, the percentage return we make over this year, and that, again, expanded over, for example, 20-year period, to get to, let's say, the $1 billion a bit quicker, right? Because maybe you're trying to get to becoming a billionaire in 5 years, which it's quick. 5 years is not a lot of time. But then again, there's people who've done it, and they're not more special than you. There's probably somebody from a freaking Indian village, African village, $0 in his name. Matter of fact, nothing. He's got a stick and a freaking stone, right? And who became a billionaire within a few years. It's probably happened in the past. If they can do it, you can. There's nothing that you couldn't do in that sense. I like to always say that. I mean, maybe, become the because, okay, maybe there's some reasons why. But in general, when we're talking about money with accumulation, all these things. Eric says, $1 billion, what's the point? Yeah, it's just to give an example, right? It's not about the $1 billion number in that sense. It's just to prove a point. Throughout the past 100 years, even by just investing in the S&P, you'd have done so freaking amazing. Everybody would have. Doesn't mean it will replicate forever, but theoretically speaking, I still think your odds are quite nice, right? By just investing in the S&P. I think still, it's not that bad an idea, but hey, what do I know, right? All right. Also, just looking back at my older video then, right? This is one of my old videos.
Like $50 is kind of a nice profit here, so...
When looking back at it, I realized, again, if you had just, back then, for example, when Bitcoin was a few $1,000s, you just kept it up, kept on buying. Even if you only bought $100 a month, right? Because Bitcoin has gone from whatever, let's just say $2,000 to $100,000, still it's times 50, right? So every $100 you put in was times 50 over that time span. So when you think about it from that angle, the only thing you have to understand is many altcoins, they will eventually go to absolute zero. I remember buying one of these coins actually, and I think one of them was 1 Bitcoin and one of them was even more than that inside of it, and I hated my life. I remember the coin, it was maybe 8 Bitcoin or something, I don't remember. Let me quickly find the coin. What was the coin's name? My arch nemesis, if you ever want to know the coin that has taken a good amount of my Bitcoin in the past somewhere. It's one of these two. All right, I don't know which one anymore. I just remember it was called Encash. It's either Nucleus Vision or Nitro Network, which both seem to be the same thing in terms of logo. This has taken a lot of my money with it. All right, but that's years ago when Bitcoin was probably like $2,000 a coin. And I remember also. Oh, my camera's stuck. I still don't sometimes know why these things get stuck all the time. Let me try it out. There we go. I still also remember being so satisfied, so happy with... No, we're stuck again. Maybe my HDMI is just screwed. Let's see. I was going to say, back then I was also very, very happy always with 0.01 Bitcoin, 0.1. Even though they were not as much money at the time. You know, now that I'm looking back at it. Every single time you made 0.1 Bitcoin, it was, let's just say it was $200, right? Maybe eventually $600. I remember $600, that's my prime time. And I always remember used to count dollars in the 0.0001 Bitcoin. But now it's obviously 10 times as much, right? So, actually, from the earlier times, it's 100 times as much. Times flicking fly. Anyway, so I remember always that it used to be pretty cool because you're stacking those coins real quick. Never really thinking, because I'm going to be honest with you, in a million years did I never expect that the coins would go up in value this much. Like, I mean, even now, there's a lot of Bitcoin Cash I've never claimed. Because also Bitcoin Cash, I kind of, at the time, it was already pretty high instantly, but I never really thought that this would all become such a big thing and that it would continue on for so long.
This is DustyBC. Welcome to
Do any of you guys remember when I always used to do, hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here. I remember that. I used to do that every single freaking day. Oh. Any of y'all remember? Any of y'all were here? All those years ago? Those were the good old times, man. Those were the good old times. Fizzy Fat Cat says, I don't trust the guy in a purple leopard or leotard, I don't know, with a purple kitty cat purse. After I saw that, I lost all respect for ETH. You know, I gotta give you one counter. The fact that one of the founders of ETH literally does not care about anybody or anything as much to just wear whatever he wants, a freaking, a freaking purple ass cat costume. I think it's kind of cool. The fact he cares that little. He just shows you in your face that he's richer than you wearing a freaking purple cat hoodie because he can. You gotta kind of put some respect on his name for that, you know? You gotta put some respect on his name for that. I think. Again, he is still the co-founder of Ethereum. So we can see a double, but you know, he did do pretty well. I also, oh man, let me just quickly find this. Where is it now? It's deleted. I also have a top 5 best wallets from 2017, but it got deleted by YouTube a while back. I can still see it in my list. Do you guys remember Electronium? What else do I have here? Man, this is also... Did any of you guys ever do an ICO? It makes me think about ICOs now because we also have ourselves the Pump Fun ICO coming up.
Hey guys. Hey guys, what's up? It's Dusty here, bringing you a new video on my 0 to a million.
I remember when we used to invest in ICOs. Oh, these were the good old freaking days, man. This is middle of 2017. The good old times. Anyway, I'm just reminiscing here. I don't know. I was having a little side moment, just looking through some of these old things. Because really, when you really zoom out, it's all just so freaking easy. By the way, let me see also here. Why is there a big drop in people every single time? Can you guys confirm? Are you guys getting ads or no? Let me also put that to manual. I think that might be what's happening. Let me see. Oh, Sid actually. Okay, I don't think Sid's in the chat no more. When he gave $2 at the start. I just see that right now. Shout out to you, Sid. Even though it was about an hour ago, I hope you're still there to accept my gratitude there. Anyway, but you can see we have a little drop in viewers all of a sudden. Sometimes I think it might be ads, even though it should be on manual, so there should not be any ad, but sometimes it glitches out a little bit. What happened to the $2.40 alert? You know, it might have played itself, but it's not giving me no sound, no nothing. Maybe I should have kept it open? Ah! No, it was probably turned on before, right? There is no sound at all coming from this. Maybe. Let's do another alert at 2. I just want to see the sound now. I like it out. Did y'all hear it? Okay, let's see. I want to see how this repeats itself, really. Let's give this a second. The silence alert. Okay, I'm not 100%. This is what we need. It should be way more ding 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 or something like that. This is like really lackluster in my own humble opinion. This would never wake me up. This would never excite me. It needs to be an alert of, hey, that's what I want. That one was good. What made that one different? It was just louder. Maybe you should add a custom sound to it. Can you guys hear it also? Did you guys hear it or no? Somebody says I thought it was a cop and ducked. Well, at least it works. So, I should just keep it always at a certain price. And then while I'm recording, sometimes, you know, if all of a sudden things start moving, now we know. Oh, I like this. The sound is okay. I'm getting more used to it now. I've been hearing this now for about a minute. You guys are saying it sounds too much like police. I don't know why. I know why you guys have so much trauma with police here, my buddies. Like, what are we talking about? Is this bad? Sounds too much like cops. I mean, when I press here, select, what is that supposed to do? We found it. This one? Can? But you guys are not vibing with police, right? I'm thinking none. Even though I expected it to be no sound, this sounds like you need to pay freaking attention right now. I think we've gotten our noise, boys. This sounds perfect for an alert. Make it say 𝗕𝗂𝗪𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗧𝗧? Maybe. Maybe this is a smart idea. All right, come on. Hit me with a sound. I need to hear it live in the flesh. I need to know if this works. Sounded like the 94 Sonic the Hedgehog on the water level. All right. Rattles your brains. How's the sound level? Are we good with that, or should it be louder? Somebody says too loud, dude. It's setting up my PTSD. That's good. All right. You want your PTSD to get triggered the moment the price starts falling below $2.30. All right. That's what you want to happen. All right. I'm not the one telling you you need this. This is the charts telling you need this. Apparently, that's why they make the sound. All right. It's not like I set it up, right? It's not like I inserted these alerts. They've been chosen. They were promised to me. Okay, never mind. Let's do another. I want to hear the alert. Let's do a new one. 239. If it drops below. We want to get an air horn once it blasts below 239. Let's wait. All right. You know what? I can even make it more specific. You know what? Let's just wait it out. We're going to just continue on with our day. And if all of a sudden we hear an air horn, we know that something has happened to XRP and we started moving. But I think what would be nicer is if I actually set it up for higher levels, like for example $2.50, etc. But I just want it only now at these levels to see once it moves. Eventually I'll switch it up. Put the Pump It Up song, Dust. Can anybody find me a Pump It Up song that does not have copyright, that does not block my video in many countries? Every single time I do the Pump It Up song, most of the countries in the world cannot watch the video anymore, or the stream. And it keeps saying no copyright on all those different songs, but they're still copyright. They lie. Yeah, I think most of these, I think, honest truth, I think they're also lying. They just put no copyright, even though it's still freaking copyrighted. So many channels do that. So, yeah, time's tough. Also, by the way, did some of y'all see, the price is not doing anything, huh? I'm just waiting for it to move. Did y'all see my video here? Talking about $100 million versus $1 a day. I saw some interesting conclusions to that, but I think my opinion is just the only right one. Would you guys, and this is a very, very serious question, would you prefer to have $100 million right now or $1 a day? It's a very good question. Let's you know what, let's give it a little view. If I had to choose between $100 million right now or $1 a day, I'd choose $1 a day every single time. Why? Because passive income. You know how much money you can make by getting $1 every single day over a period of 4,000 years? Think about it. $100 million right now, nothing in comparison to $1 a day in perpetuity. Anybody who's choosing the other one just wants a lump sum all at once. Think about the taxes you're going to have to pay. But at $1 a day, without that passive income, I can take on mountains. If I had to choose between $100 million right now, think about it, right? $1 a day for the next 34,000 years. That's pretty freaking good, right? $100 million right now. All the freaking things you'd have to do. No, but $1 a day, if you only get to about 9,000, maybe 12,000 years old, it will be worth it. But you guys are not thinking about the longer term, all right? I'm thinking multi-generational. I'm thinking perpetuity. Yeah, of course. Of course. Of course. But hey, you know what? A lot of people said... Oh, let me quickly see what happened here. Oh, 1 second. This air horn is not blasting. I'm not loving this right now. Justin says you won't live 34,000 years. Damn. You didn't have to tell me like that, boss. You could have, you could have easily etched me into. Hey, I forgot! Guys, I have such amazing news. Not for all of you, but only for me. Like, exclusively, one person joy right here. I still have my dessert that I took from the restaurant. This is amazing news. This is one of the best pieces of news I've had in the last 25 minutes. Oh, my days. Where is my spoon? We have an issue. The spoon I had conquered to take to my house has been taken. And it seems that this spoon is filthy. Now you might ask yourself, did you not just grab a filthy spoon from the other person's table? No, this spoon is just filthy looking, I think. It's not filthy. We give it a good little rub. Smells clean. All right. We do the smelling test. Smells pretty good. I gave it a good little rub with my freaking shirt. Otherwise, we're going to have to stand up. And I think it's just properly clean. Shake and Bake says, bye, dude. Too much about you. Adios, amigo. I'm going to see you. I'm going to see you hopefully very, very soon. Review. Delicious. Fit for an XRP pump day. Fit for a Bitcoin all-time high. This is what you should treat yourself to today. All right? A few alerts, which hopefully right now are going to get triggered. We're going to set ourselves up some juicy alerts. A juiced up XRP trade. And of course, Bitcoin and whatever trades to match, as you all know. Some nice bots, which are also just grinding out profits as we sleep. Oh, things are good right now. I'm enjoying it. Woo! I love it. I love this. This alert system is the best thing that's happened to me thus far. Oh, I'm going to abuse the crap out of this. There'll be no more streams without air horns every few minutes. Beautiful. But overarching, again, if you're wondering, we're just waiting for XRP to break out here, have its little moment, and honestly, I don't have that much to say anymore. I'm going to put some alerts on. If XRP breaks above $2.50, we'll probably have to start yet another stream. You know, if something crazy happens to Bitcoin, I'll probably have to start another stream. But for right now, I don't want to waste y'all's time, because y'all are enjoying your day. I hope so. I hope you are. I mean, right now, XP is break. Okay, wait a minute. It is starting to move back up a little bit again, though. Okay, we had 1 hour of decline, but we're starting that freaking offense again. We're starting that move back upwards. I have that feeling that the moment I end everything, the moment I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a little chill. I'm going to play a little game or something. I'm going to watch some dessert. It's going to all of a sudden go for a crazy pump. I don't want to feel that. I feel FOMO. But then again, I do realize I have free will. I can turn the stream back on at any time I want to. The only problem is you will most likely not get a notification because you can only get a few notifications a day from any channel. So I recommend you on a day like this, sometimes tune back into the channel every now and then. That's what I recommend you. In case something crazy happens, I'll be back with another stream. That's why I'm telling you that. But the fact that Bitcoin just broke an all-time high, oof, all right, it puts all of our theories in the perfect spot right here, right? We, as it stands currently, are set up for a massive, massive, massive move. And oh boy, am I excited. We need a Dusty League of Legends stream. You're not ready for that. You're not ready for the results. You're not ready for whatever you're about to see right there, all right? The world is not ready for that yet. But guys, let's give it a little time. If all of a sudden something crazy happens to the price, I'll be back with yet another stream. If you enjoyed it, make sure you press that like button. You don't have to though, but you can. And make sure you put the subscribe bell on, so click with the notifications. So in case something crazy drops, I'll let you know. If something happens to my trades, if I decide to do something different, I will also let you know. And it's also nice, these alerts for the price also go on your phone. So I'm right now getting about an alert a minute that XRP is going above $2.40 or whatever. I'm going to put so many alerts in now that I know that 𝗏𝗏𝗀 also has this. This is amazing. I'll see you guys again very, very soon, my friends. All right? Peace out. Hopefully see you in a few minutes if XRP all of a sudden has a massive breakout again. Oh, it's going to be nice.